Guys, this is part 3. Alright, so I have to record, upload, wait till it uploads, delete the video, get the storage back, start it all over again. So the reason why I'm saying all this, because it's leading to a greater point. It's just a lot of the horrible things in my life, all the way from a child, foster care, all this stuff, I kept it to myself. Now I know it's time to release it because it's worth millions. Not just it's worth millions, but it touches other people. And now, all of a sudden, I know that people are telling me that I need to be quiet about my past. Oh, it was okay then how you used my past against me. Used it to keep me out of certain doors, keep me out of certain places. But now that I can use my past to bring my establishment, to bring myself some subsidy, now all of a sudden I need to be quiet. No, sir. We telling all now. So we're going to finish this story. So I think I left off in the last video with us being in Austin, the Youngstown. So we started in Akron, Ohio. And it didn't take us a full night. It took us half of that night to get to Barberton. We stayed that night. So now we're in day 3 here at Youngstown. So we get into Youngstown. We get the and I say, let's stay here 3 days. We end up not staying there 3 days because of what happened when they tried to accuse Elijah of stealing. I think it was a hat, to be quite honest. It was a hat. And I know Elijah didn't take the hat because I was watching him the entire time. I was making sure that the people I was rolling with, I could trust them. And I knew that my life was not in danger being around them. And since I was just leaving Ohio for the first time with 2 people, one who I'm already known, Elijah I already known, but Robert McAvoy was definitely an add-on tag-along that we picked up in Akron. So we get to walk in. We're now at the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio. I think I left off there with the candle lights. And so we stop and we start praying. I spit on Ohio and I kiss the ground over the line to Virginia or to Pennsylvania. Because to me, it was the closing of a bitter life and the start of a brand new one. So we start lighting candles, the same prayers of what the thing is. We sit there, we talk for a little bit, and it's time to keep on going. So we keep walking up the road. It's a long road. I forget the name of the road. I forget what it is. I just know it's the road of the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania. And on the left-hand side, a little bit up ways, there's a members-only bar. And Elijah says, hey, let's stop in there. I was like, absolutely not, because in my mind, we're in Pennsylvania, we're in the middle of the woods, and I'm the only nigga that's here. These are 2 white boys, and I'm the only nigga. I was like, we're not getting in that bar. I said, that's a members-only bar. I said, you know what members-only mean? That means whites only. He's like, yeah, whatever. That don't mean none of that, blah, 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 blah. So Elijah going in the bar. And we actually, matter of fact, we're so broke, so poor. All we have is some clothes that's on our backpack, and those are wet. Because when we were walking throughout the night, it was raining. It was cold. We were wet. We were cold. Our phones were dead. We had no money. All we had was a pack of rolling papers. So, me and Rob, we're picking cigarettes out of the ashtray, taking the tobacco out of it, and rolling it in rolling papers to smoke it because we don't have no cigarettes and we don't have no money for cigarettes. So Elijah come out of this bar, and he's like, oh, yeah, yo, we all can come in and whatnot. So we go into the bar, and these people come with plates of wings. And they say, hey, sit down. These white folks, they were so nice. We sat down and they just brought us plates of wings and pizza. And we just sitting there, we eating. I asked, hey, can we charge our phones? And so the guy comes over and He's like, so which one of you can I talk to? And Elijah and Rob, they both point to me. And so me and the guy go over there and we talk. He's like, so hey, what's up with you guys? And I was like, he's like, yo, your friend Elijah told us a little bit of the story. So what's up? I was like, yeah, we're hitching from Ohio. We were homeless in Ohio. We had no money. And we felt that because of the current economical state in Ohio, we just felt that if we want to be something or do something, we have to go to another state. And he's like, okay. He said, so why Virginia Beach? I said, because Elijah has been to Virginia Beach before. And since I've never been there, he's been there. He knows it. We're going to go, and I'm going to run this until we get to Virginia Beach, and then I'm going to pass it over to Elijah since he knows about it than I do. More about it than I do. He's like, okay. And so I'm just telling them the story, and they're just so happy about it. So we sit there, we listen to some country, we sing, we dance, and we're just having a nice conversation. And now our phones are at a decent charge, and I'm ready to go because I'm all about keeping this trip going. I'm trying to get to Virginia as quick as possible. So now we're in about day 3. We're in day 3 now of this. Since we've been out of Akron, Ohio, we're in day 3. We're about to go to the bar, and then it turns out that 2 old ladies start fighting. We're about to get out of the bar, about to go. We're in the middle of picking up our phones off the chargers, putting it in our bags, and going. And then the 2 old ladies start fighting. And it turns out that one was the mother and the other was the daughter. The mother was like 80-something years old, and the daughter was like 50. And these white women were, oh my goodness, they were throwing blows. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And I'm looking at Elijah and Bob. I was like, what the fuck? These white folks is crazy. It's time to go. And so we're walking out of the bar, and the guy come up that, brought us all the food. He's like, hey, here you go. He gave us $20. Not $20 a piece. He gave us $120. He gave it to me, and I held on to it because I was going to make sure that 20 was spread it out through for the 3 of us, whereas opposed Elijah or Rob, they take that 20 and they go to McDonald's to buy a $5 shake. And the reason why I say that, because that's very important of coming up, because Elijah did do that. He did that. So I take the 20. I was like, hey, thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for the Luke Bryan, because that's the song that they was playing, all the Luke Bryan songs. And I was like, hey, and we're going to keep on going. I was like, so where is the next homeless shelter from here? He's like, well, it's in Newcastle, PA. And Newcastle, PA was about a 3-hour hike up the road. And I was like, that's fine. He's like, I say, we're walking. He's like, but be very careful in Newcastle, PA. He says, because there's been murders and kidnappings. I said, okay. I said, well, we're working with the Most High. Well, at that time, I didn't know the Most High. I knew I was still in Christianity, so I knew him as God and Jesus. I said, it's all right. Jesus is with us. God is with us. We good. He's like, okay. So we get our $20. We go. Also, he gave us a bag of weed. $20 in a bag of weed. Elijah had the bag of weed. And I had the $20. No, actually, excuse me. Wrong. They didn't give us the weed because we ended up getting weed, but it wasn't from them. It was from the 2 old ladies that were fighting. So these 2 old ladies, they still knocking each other out. Mother and daughter just beating the crap out of each other. So we start walking. We're walking up this dark road. No lights, no nothing. It's this dark. And all of a sudden, this car comes up behind us. And the 2 old ladies get out of the car right next to us. And they just keep on fighting. And in my mind, I'm like, now you had this whole road to stop and beat each other up. But you come way up here next to us, get out the car, and y'all start fighting. So they finally stop fighting because the man get out the car, and then so they come to turn to us and say, hey, you guys need a ride to Newcastle, PA? We could take you there. And I'm like, no, you guys are drunk, and I'm not getting in the car with no drunk people because I just had my car crash. I was still petrified of being in freaking vehicles to begin with. That car crash, my Kia Spectral crumpled up like a fist. So Elijah ended up talking me to getting in the car. So we get in the car. They take us to Newcastle, PA. We got the $20 still. We get to Newcastle, PA, to the homeless shelter. It's sleep. Everyone is sleep is full. So I go talk to the guy. I say, hey, we're not going to be here long. We're going to be here until I asked him when's the next bus run. He said there was a bus that ran from Newcastle to Pittsburgh, but it doesn't start running until 4 a.m. the next morning. During this time is around 6 a.m. the next morning. And during this time is around 1 or 2. So we still have about 3 or 4 hours to wait for this bus. So I'm like, all right, and it's going to be, 4, 8, 12 for the 3 of us. That's exactly what it was. It was $12. So it's $4 a ticket. $4 a ticket to take us from Newcastle to Pittsburgh. So I was like, okay, so can we sleep here for a few hours? He's like, oh, we're full and we can't allow anyone in. I was like, look, we're going to be gone as soon as that bus comes, and we sleep on the floor. I don't care. I said, we just need to be somewhere while we wait. He's like, fine. He's like, because you asked, I get it. He's like, you guys have IDs. Elijah and Rob didn't have IDs. I was the only one with an ID and a social security card because I keep all that stuff on me. Always kept it on me. Even when I was homeless, I always kept those 2 things on me at all costs. I think I like this job getting away. I had to talk them into letting us stay for those few hours. So we did. We slept in there. They gave us some food. 6 o'clock in the morning came. We got on the bus, and we was in Pittsburgh by, I want to say, 8 that morning. It didn't take that long, actually. So we get off the bus to Pittsburgh. The first thing we do is, let's go to McDonald's real quick. I go to McDonald's. Now, from that $20, we just spent $12. Sarah. So we only have $8 left. So we got to make that last for 3 people at McDonald's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we go in, and Elijah, he want to order a $5 Shamrock Shake. I was like, so what you expect? You expect to get a $5 Shamrock Shake, and we just supposed to eat nothing? I was like, because we only have $8. You know what I'm saying? So we end up getting, a $2 meal per pop. Yeah, during that time, it was cheaper. You had a sausage McMuffin and a hash brown. It was like $2 then. So we eat in, and I was like, well, now we need to figure out what we're going to do next. We're in Pennsylvania now. We're in Pittsburgh now. And we're on our 3rd day. I was like, we doing good. We got to keep this going. And so I said, let's find a church, somewhere that's giving out food or somewhere that's feeding, somewhere that's going to, because if anything we're going to be able to get is going to be from a church at this point. So we walk up to the first church we see. We go up to the church, and I see this man there. This man comes up, and he's like, hey. I was like, hi. I was like, do you know when this is feeding or when the next food pantry is? He's like, you're just in time. It starts at 10 o'clock. He said, I've been waiting here for you because the Lord told me you 3 were coming. I said, excuse me? Excuse me now? Who told you this? He said, the Lord told me you 3 guys were coming, and I was here waiting for you. I said, okay, we're going to chalk that up as to whatever. I said, we're ready to eat some real food because we ate that McDonald's and burnt that off so quickly. So we get down in there. He's like, well, before we go down in here, is there anything you guys want to pray about? Because the Lord told me to pray with you guys and to pray right now. I was like, well, we are trying to get to Virginia Beach. We're in the middle of hitchhiking from Ohio to Virginia Beach. We just came hitchhiked from Akron, Ohio, starting last night, and now we're here. I was like, so what we need is money. We need a job. A day job, some type of job that can give us enough money to save to keep making our way to Virginia Beach. He said, okay, that's great. So we pray and we say our amens and all that stuff. So we go down into the church. We're helping them set up. It's like, well, we don't have any volunteers. Would you guys mind helping us set up? I said, sure, we help you set up. So in the midst of us helping them set up, some other guy come running in the church off the street. He says, is there any guys that need to work? Because we just opened up a cell phone store on the strip, and we need help moving our stuff inside the store. And we of course, we just got done praying about that literally 30 seconds to a minute prior to that. So I was like, yes. So he took me and Rob because we were the biggest ones. Elijah is a small little thing. Muscular, compact, but very small. Rob was built and buff, and I'm the same way. So he took us 2. we go into the cell phone store. We work all day. And I think we made $180 a piece, which is $160 for the both of us. We made $80 a piece. So we work. We call Elijah when the work day is over. Elijah comes down there. He waits with us while we're waiting for this guy to bring the money back. Now, I don't know what happened. Oh, I do know what happened. The guy tried to rip us out of our money. So what we did was we called the guy that we met at the church, because he was the one that referred us to the job, that took us down to the job. So we called him at the church. So he comes down there, and him and the dude start fighting. Him and the guy that we worked for. So the guy that prayed for us and the guy that we work for just start beating each other up in the middle of the store over our money. Long story short, he got that $160. He beat it out of him. He got that $160. He gave us our $80 a piece, and we gave him a little money for beating the dude up and getting our money. So now we got our bus money. So we stay in Pittsburgh one more night because the bus didn't come to the next day. So we in Pittsburgh at night. We sleep behind this restaurant. I remember it's this restaurant, and we sleep behind the door. And because we thought the door never opened, because it looked like it hasn't been open in years. And we sleep behind there. And we got woken up the next morning because they opened the door to come out to throw out trash. So we picked our stuff up and left. And we go to the library in Pittsburgh while we wait for the bus. Well, wait for the mega bus, because that's what we paid for, the mega bus. So we're waiting. I meet this black guy, and he's, trying to get me away from the two white dudes and say, you need to stay here in Pittsburgh, blah, 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 blah. And I'm loyal to the cause. So until they give me a reason to feel or think otherwise, I'm still loyal to these two dudes. So we wait for the mega bus. We get on the mega bus. We take the mega bus to Carlisle, PA. We take the mega bus to Carlisle, PA. We get off, and of course, it's the same principle. Find a church. We go find a church. Turns out that the church that we found. That's how I know that we were led by the Spirit, because every thought, everything we touched, everything we did produced fruit. So we go to this church, and turns out that it's a homeless shelter. So we sleep there for the night. So the next day, which is a Sunday in Carlisle, PA, I remember, we get up and we're going to a different church, because that church was just a housing church. They didn't feed, they didn't do none of that. You sleep there throughout the night, and in the morning you go. So we go into the other church that fed. We go to this church, we eat, and now I'm on my soapbox there too. Now I start preaching. Talking about the Lord and how good he is, and our trip thus far, and all the miracles that were worked on our trip thus far. So this white lady, which her picture is on my Facebook, this white lady come, and she comes up to me, and she says, "Oh my gosh, are you our new Sunday school teacher?" And in my mind, I'm like, I'm the only nigga here. There's no possible way I'm your Sunday school teacher. And I was like, no, I'm not your Sunday school teacher. We're just hitchhiking from Akron, Ohio to Virginia Beach. We're homeless, we're poor. We're just trying to get a better life. She's like, oh man, I love what you were saying. I love your message, blah, blah, blah. She gave us all the change in her purse and the number. And she says, you know what? She says, tomorrow, I'm going to take you to Virginia Beach. I was like, okay. And I wasn't thinking nothing of it, because in my life, people have made promises and they've never, ever come through on their promises. So I wasn't thinking anything of it. So she said, hey, I'm going to take you to Virginia Beach tomorrow. I was like, okay. She said, here's my number. Give me your number and I give you a call. We did. So we leave. Now we're about at 12 o'clock noon. We need to charge our phones. So we go into this Subway in Carlisle, PA. We sit in this Subway for a while, and I'm talking, we always had deep scholarly conversations. And because of that, random people will always come up, oh my gosh, you're so right, and stuff like that. So we were talking in Subway, charging our phone, and there is a Muslim guy or Indian. I'm going to call him Ishmaelite for this video. His name is Donnie Martinez. And we had a long conversation. It turns out that I was like, hey, we're here. We told him our story, and we're waiting on this lady to call us tomorrow. He's like, well, you guys got anywhere to sleep? We said no. So he took us to his apartment. He said he can't let us stay in his apartment, but he took us to the basement part of it where the water heaters and stuff was. Elijah was sick at this time. He caught a cold along the trip. So because of that, I'm sitting on the floor because I'm charging the phone. That's why. And I start sitting on the floor the last video because the phone is charged. Elijah was sick, and I was coming down with a cold because I was getting sick from Elijah. And we stay in the boiler room pretty much. The next morning comes, and the lady is still not calling, and Elijah's, oh, you got to be patient. You got to be patient. I was like, I'm done waiting. Let's walk. Let's get going. We can't waste time waiting on her. We don't know if she going to call or if she not. So to nip that in the bud, let's keep it going. So we're in the midst about to start back up the band and hitchhike and continue this trip where the lady called. She calls, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she actually called. So she calls, she says, listen. She says, I cannot take you to Virginia Beach today. She said, but what I can do is pay for your ticket for tomorrow. And I was actually mad about that because I was like, I'm ready to leave today. I'm ready to go now, not tomorrow. Now, I don't want to waste one more day here. I'm ready to go because of that. So she's like, and Elijah had to calm me down. He's like, this is still good. We just got to wait one more day. I was like, God. I was like, fine. That's perfect. It's still good. We accept your offer. And she said, okay, I'll meet you tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. at the library. No, not the library. That Subway we met Donnie Martinez at. Because Carlisle, PA is very small. So there's this one drag and everything is on that drag. So we wait at the Subway we got to finish out this day. So we still got a whole day ahead of us to finish out while we wait till tomorrow because I just got off the phone with the white lady I met at the church. So now we're hungry. We have no money. So I'm like, Lord, give us some food. We need some food. So we're walking. We get, I think, by Carlisle University or some university in Carlisle, PA. And some white girls come running out with pizzas in their hand. And they saw us. They say, hey. They waved us down there and said, hey, you guys want any pizza? We had a pizza party. We got a lot of leftover pizza. Here's some pizza. Wow. So the Most High delivered. We got another task for you, Most High. Our shoes are messed up. We've been walking forever, and our shoes, the bottom of our shoes are torn off. Literally, torn off. I said, Lord, we need shoes. So we're walking. And sure enough, it's trash day. So on the trash can, there's 3 brand new pairs of Nike shoes, an 8, a 9, and a 10, sitting right there. I need a cigarette for that. Because now I'm starting to get really, really interested in what God has to say now. Because before I was trying to get to Virginia. I said, so God, if you ain't talking getting to Virginia, I don't need to hear you right now. And he like, oh yeah? Oh yeah, nigga. Really? Okay. So we got our shoes. I was like, okay. The Lord want to play games. Father, we need some weed. We need some weed. Oh, about the weed. Okay, I forgot that story. So let's back up. I forgot about that. So let's back up to the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio. When the 2 ladies got out of the car to fight, and then we ended up getting picked up, they dropped weed on the side of the road. So Elijah and I both, before we did anything, stopped to look for the weed, and we could not find it. We were mad about that. All right, so I needed to say that. So let's fast forward back to Carlisle, PA right now. So we just got the pizza. We just got the shoes. Those are 2 things we just asked for, and the Most High said, got you. Just like that. I said, Lord, now we need some weed. So we walking. We're going up to the park. We cross the hood. Long story short, these dudes come running out. They're like, hey, what's up, y'all? Blah, 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 blah. And they asked if we needed some weed. I was like, yeah, we don't have any money. He pulled out a bag. He said, there you go. Got you. Now we got our weed. Now we got our weed. The Most High works in so many different ways because he knows we needed that to continue this. We were running on hope and faith at best. We needed something to keep our hopes up, and he gave us our marijuana. So we wait. We end up going back to Donnie Martinez's apartment. We sleep in the boiler room one more night. 10 o'clock the next morning comes. We meet the lady at Subway. The lady meets us at Subway. She pays for our Greyhound ticket, which is due to leave 4 o'clock later that day. So she's like, well, while we wait, let's go to Cracker Barrel. She takes us to Cracker Barrel, and that white woman treated us so good. She takes us to Cracker Barrel, and we ate like kings. She said, order anything you want. So he lied about his marriage. And we did. The table, I have it on my first Facebook that Facebook took down. All these pictures were on there, and they took that down. Once again, taking things away from me. Because that's been the story of my life. People taking things away from me. Just for no reason. So I can't have it. I remember the first time I was homeless, I had my high school diploma and a picture of my little brother and sister, my biological brother and sister who I have not seen since I was 13 years old. And someone stole that for no... What the fuck would you do with someone else's shit? And Deborah tells me that you only stole it so they couldn't have it. No one knows where it is. All right, so back to where we are. So we're meeting with the lady. We're at Cracker Barrel. We're eating good and everything. And she's like, okay. She looks at our clothes. She said, you guys are going to need clothes for Virginia Beach. So she gave us $100 a piece to go to Walmart to buy clothes. So we go to Walmart, we buy clothes. I still have about $60 left. Elijah spent all of his $100, and Robert spent his entire $100. I knew they would because they're children. They were children. I was the mature one of us all. Maybe it is too late. So I saved my money because I was like, when I get to Virginia Beach, I want to have some money in my pocket too. So we buy our clothes. Now we're waiting for the Greyhound at the Greyhound station. We at the Greyhound station. She pulls me aside. She says, hey, look. She said, the Lord wants me to tell you something. I said, what's that? She said, those two young men that are by you. She said, when you get to Virginia, they're going to leave. They're going to leave you. They're going to leave you. They're going to betray you. And they're going to turn their backs on you. I said, no, we've been friends for a long time. They ain't going to do that. She says, yes, they are. She said, what you need to understand, this is not their trip. This is your trip, not theirs. I was like, you're just lying. She's like, okay, you'll see. So we pray. The bus gets here. And I'm picking Elijah's bags up, my bags, Rob's bags. Because that's the type of person I was. I made sure I took the burden off all of my people. And I took all of the burden. And that white lady saw that. She saw me picking the bags up and all that stuff. She said, put them bags down. This old white lady, here to pick up a package. She picked up all of them bags. And she looked at me. And she said, you have carried the burden of all of these people that have come into your life. And she said, it is time for me to carry the burden for you. So she put the bags on the bus, and I hug her. We both cry because I'm like, my own mama didn't lift a finger for me. But yet this white woman did. We cried. She said, now you remember what I told you. She said, so do not be surprised that when you get to Virginia Beach, they will betray you. They will betray you. Sorry, man. So we get on the bus in Carlisle, PA, and we take that all the way to Virginia Beach. Yep. Actually, we take it to Norfolk. No, we did take it to Virginia Beach. We took it all the way down to Virginia Beach. We got off at Virginia Beach. This was this is now March 30th, 2014. And for the first time, Elijah took me down to the VOA, which was around at that time, or the Lighthouse, and the Potter's House. And then we get on the bus to go to Norfolk to the Union Mission. And we go to the Union Mission. They don't allow us in because they don't have IDs. But I end up talking them into giving us 2 nights without IDs in the Union Mission. They gave us 2 nights. Then we get on a bus to go back to Virginia Beach. And sure enough,
that's not like Charlie at all.
Because I could have stayed in that shelter and Elijah and them would have had to sleep on the street. But after the 2 nights, I left because they couldn't stay there. So we get down to the VOA. I go down to Doughboys. As soon as I get down there, I go down to Doughboys. Now we're in April 1st. I go down to Doughboys. April 1st, April 2nd. The Doughboys on 24th Street. I get hired on April 3rd. I start April 7th. I come back and I was like, I got a job. And Elijah and them, they're with this white girl. Elijah and Robert, they meet this white girl. And sure enough, exactly what that woman said they did. It's like, we're going to go live with the white girl, but she don't want you because she don't want to hear none of that Jesus stuff. And so that's exactly what they did to me. They said, see ya. And I'm like, well, I would be mad, but the white woman already told me you two was going to do this. So go, bye. I don't need you. So I start working at Doughboys. Long story short, this is April. May, I'm housed. I get my first apartment in Lynn Haven in May. And I'm working at Doughboys, and I haven't talked to Elijah and Rob since. This is May now, 2014. And about June 2014, they come. I see Elijah walking at the oceanfront. He comes down to the Doughboys. He says, hey, Cliff, that girl kicked us out. We need a place to stay. Can we come stay with you? I said, absolutely not. I said, prophecy has been fulfilled. This trip has been made. And I'm here for my purpose. I said, you were only here to get me here. That's what you were. That was your purpose. You served your purpose, and I served mine. And I haven't talked to them since. And it's been 10 years. Because once you betray me once, there is no second time for you to betray me because you won't get a second time. You won't get a second time. And that's how I got here. And then from then on, it's been nothing but knowledge and understanding and amazing things that have happened and amazing lessons, which brings us to the end of all of this. The understanding comes from the hard road taking. And the understanding comes, understanding is the protection. It's the protection. Because of all the things, because I never knew what drugs was, I never knew what homelessness was until I became homeless for the first time. And being around certain people, they were doing certain things, and I tried certain things, and those certain things led to other things. But I remember being there, and I was still always speaking about the Most High and talking about His glories. Even in my worst situations. Even when I was homeless. And I remember there was this one story. This was in 2015. Because from 2014 to 2017, it was constant in and out of homelessness. I'd be 6 months and everything is good. And then it all go bad for 4 or 5 months. And then 6 months, everything was good. Then it all go bad for 4 or 5 months. Then 6 months, it was back and forth. Until I came in 2017 when I went back to school, got all these certifications, degrees, because I made a decision that something has to change. This cycle can't keep going forever. Something has to change. And I remember sitting there at the oceanfront by that Shell gas station, by the U-Hauls, because when we was homeless, we used to sleep in the back of the U-Hauls. And I remember crying because why is nothing working? And I remember this white woman coming out of nowhere. And I was praying to the Most High. She just came out of nowhere. And she said, the Lord hears your prayers. and he hears you, he sees your tears. Out of no fucking where. She was nowhere to be found. And just came out of nowhere. That's why I picked this place and I come back, because it's the spiritual component that I have found here, and the understanding that I found here, despite all the hate, all the sabotage, all the plotting and the conspiring these niggas have done. But one thing these niggas don't know, because none of these niggas know. These niggas think I got nobody. They have no idea I come from a family of a family of wealth and Sadducees. Because I kept it all hidden, because I was at war with my family, and still to this day is. Everything these niggas tried to do backfired on their asses. A lot of these niggas are dead. I remember there was this one man named Tennessee. He robbed me, and the Lord killed him. He was shot and killed right in those streets. And that's what gives us the hope. And that's what gives us the joy to keep on going.
Tracy Sararak said Theo's brother came in the office looking for
our testimonies are meditations. A meditation unto the great one. Because he is a great God. And every man will bow, and every knee will come, every tongue will confess, and every man will bow. The problem is, some of them will bow in hell, and some of us will bow right here on earth. And that's the way it is with a lot of our people. But that story needed to be told, because a book is going to be written on all of this. I'm going to write a book on all of this, because I was told that this is worth millions, my testimonies. And this is just the hitchhike. This is not including the biological, the stuff that happened in my biological home with my biological mother. That's a whole nother $1 million testimony in itself. So it's amazing how the Most High works and how glorious he is. And this is why we keep doing this, despite how it feels, how it looks. Because it looks like our people are just bad. Niggas on the corners, holes in shoes, pants. It looks like our people from the outside. It looks like there's no hope for them. There's no redemption for them. There is no God for them.
With Chewy, save 20% on your first pharmacy order. So you can put an end.
But we know it's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like that. And we give all praises to the Great One, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Salah, so be it.